I'm gonna give you three options. You tell me which one doesn't belong. Big tech, big government, or big VPN? Wasn't VPN supposed to be our friend? Weren't they supposed to create an encrypted tunnel so for the first time we could stop being stalked and cataloged and chased and recorded by these companies? Well, unfortunately, Big VPN has turned their back on you and turned their back on me. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about my exact VPN strategy. Most of these VPNs, especially some of the biggest ones out there, are no longer usable. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you my exact system, and we're going to break all this down in Operation Real VPN. Now, if you're going to have a virtual private network, you need to have one that is not owned by big multinational conglomerates. And while I respect the hustle, the problem with this specific product is it's supposed to keep us anonymous. Let's break some of this down. J2 Global or StackPath, IPVanish, Strong VPN, EncryptMe, Free VPN, Namecheap VPN, Overplay VPN, Free VPN Proxy, and Buffered VPN, just to name the start. So you've got a company like this that owns multiple VPNs. It gives you the illusion of choice, and it was actually acquired by StackPath in 2017. In 2019, Global announced that it's purchased the Israel-based Safe VPN, and in 2019, EncryptMe and Buffered VPN. So they're all owned by a conglomerate that is known for sharing data, and that is the problem. I'm gonna give you a couple more examples on Anchor Free, okay? You've got a lot of these free VPNs built into a company to track your traffic. Now, here's the thing. If you look at these free VPN proxies, well, you should never use a free VPN, but what it does is it gives people this false confidence that instead of your ISP, you use a VPN. Now, let me tell you something about your ISP. Your ISP, I don't care if you use Visible Mobile or Mint Mobile. I don't care if you use Verizon or T-Mobile, you patch in. I don't care if you use Starlink or some kind of satellite internet. I don't care if you use Comcast or one of these, run-of-the-mill internet providers in your city. I don't care if you use mobile and nomad-based internet or something that is built right into your office building or house. All of your ISPs, 100%, A, are regulated by the federal government or governments worldwide, regardless of what country you're in, and two, they cannot wait. They are giddy with glee to tell the NSA and the FBI everything about you. They'll call, hey, FBI, we got Chad Smith. He's looking at this website, and you might want to know about it, right? They cannot wait. But the good thing about your ISP is they don't lie about this. They are upfront and open about the fact that they stalk you, they track you, they record you, they catalog you. They are horrible people, and you pay them money for access to the internet, and they use it against you the entire time. VPNs are supposed to be your friend. VPN is like that friend who gossips on you, and that is made clear here with Gadget Tech, 7 VPN products, including Pure VPN, including Open VPN, which is a very popular one. Actually, Pure is as well, and it is a Pakistan-based company that owns Pure VPN, but the new CEO is actually notorious for leaking information to intelligence agencies, and they had a serious breach in 2014, 2015, which they didn't patch. It also looks like, based on what I'm looking at here, that they had another breach in 2018, 2019. Now, this brings me to the king of the breach, which is Cape Technologies. Maybe you heard of them. They are a horrible company, and they own, yes, and I quote, ExpressVPN, which was sold for $936 million in cash. It tells you how big the business is with these VPNs, to almost $1 billion in cash for Express, because the user base. Private internet access, which is what I've been a fan of for a long time, but they do have some problems. ZenMate VPN and CyberGhost, which is shockingly popular considering its checkered past. Now, Cape Technologies purchased London Trust Media, which owned private internet access in 2019 for $99.5 million, basically $100 million. They're getting cute here with the number. And the biggest purchase Cape VPN history overall was September 13th, 2021, where they bought ExpressVPN for nearly $1 billion, doubling their user base from 3 to 6 million. And now it is said that they've got roughly 10 million users across the board with their new launches this calendar year. So they're closing in on a 10 million user base, but they are known for utilizing that data. They're becoming data collection agencies. And also, Cape has ties to several big tech, not the least of which governments. But then we brings us to Nord VPN, something that people love, Nord VPN. Well, until November 15, 2020, Nord was the company behind NordVPN, NordLayer, and other cybersecurity products. Now, that was great. After structural changes in the Nord group and Nord SEC Limited, as of October 15, 2021, a deal saw Peakstar Technologies, Inc. and Atlas VPN incorporated into NordSec Limited, which overall it looks like the beginning of the merger back in September 2021 with Cape Technology. So basically they're running parallel, Nord with Cape, with Express and PIA and all the other ones. Now, they talk about other popular VPNs in here, and some of the biggest ones, of course, are like Proton VPN, which a lot of people think is a privacy-based VPN, and a lot of people also look at other Singapore-based companies. But this is just simply not working out, and I could break down a million of these, but we're going to break down the next step and what you should utilize. So where does this leave us with all of these VPNs working with governments? I mean, Proton Mail came out and said they would. Basically, all the major VPNs have come out and said that they don't keep logs, and then most of them have been proven to keep logs, and they will work with the governments, but only if they have specific information they need from specific users. This is kind of a web that is untangling. So what can you do? There's really only one thing you can do, and that is compartmentalize. Compartmentalization is key. So what is my system? Well, you bring in your ISP, and again, if you are not a ghost yet, you need to become a ghost quick. You should have nothing in your name. I did a video on how to get ghost internet. So basically internet that is not in your name, which I do not recommend having anything in your name, the least of which internet. Check out my ghost internet video so you understand how this process works. I'm gonna assume that you're a ghost. If you're not, check out the first link down below. You can become a ghost quickly and efficiently, so you don't have to worry about all of the stuff that we're gonna talk about from here on. If you're not a ghost and you don't have ghost internet, then having a VPN, or really you have no privacy. Utilizing crypto, utilizing all these things isn't gonna work for you because you have no privacy. It starts with your portal, your gateway to the internet, whether it's a computer, whether it's a phone, whether it's IoT, which is Internet of Things, whether it's a smart TV, whether it's a gaming system, etc. Okay? So your ISP needs to be ghost internet, like I've done a video on just recently. Once you have that, it needs to go to a router that is a VPN router. So this is a VPN router. I got this here for demonstration. This is a VPN router. Now, most of you are familiar with this, right? You plug in the router and then you have other ports that go out to devices. So, can you use Wi-Fi? Well, Wi-Fi is historically weak. However, if you're on your own Wi-Fi and it is heavily password protected, then utilizing your own Wi-Fi for certain devices is fine because we're going to use some VPN. So we go from the ISP to a VPN router. Now from the VPN router, if you use things like a game system or a smart TV, I strongly recommend you Ethernet connect them from a VPN router to those devices. The easiest way to hack you is things like smart TVs, also smart meters, also smart thermostats, also these smart cameras. Those are some of the easiest. Never be on one of those systems. By popular demand, I'm going to be doing a tutorial soon on how to do a premium security system without utilizing these services that actually have been proven, like ADT, to stalk people. ADT had an employee go to jail 2 years ago because it stalked a woman and showed up at her house. He was watching her for months on the ADT cameras. That's the kind of stuff you can expect. So you go from your internet to your wireless VPN, and I recommend plugging in everything that you can through Ethernet. In fact, I've got a large TV in my home gym. I have a home gym, really all decked out, TV in there. What do? I unplug the TV when I'm not using it because it is on Wi-Fi, and I don't believe in Wi-Fi devices that are not monitored. Whenever I'm not using Wi-Fi on anything, the Wi-Fi gets turned off, the Bluetooth gets turned off, everything gets turned off when I'm not using it because that's how little faith. And even though I have high level security, much higher level than 99.9% of people in the private sector, with the exception of people like me who are actual ghosts and who take this stuff seriously for a living. I own a company doing this. And then obviously people who have supercomputers and super technology, like in high-level government stuff that has stuff that doesn't even exist in the private sector. But even though I take my security that high, I still only trust this stuff to a point. So from your ISP to your router, plug everything in. If you're going to use Wi-Fi, you get on your device, you have another VPN. Now, what VPNs are good? Well, I can tell you that the best option is to go get a Raspberry Pi Zero and create your own VPN on OpenVPN on Raspberry. You can actually create your own VPN in about an hour with the Raspberry Pi Zero, and this is a full computer that costs like $15. That's an option, and I've got a couple of them. But do I think all of you need to go out and do that? No, I don't. I really don't. And because of that, I did a video here breaking down the best VPNs. I did my tier list. I've got a playlist on my channel. Go to the playlist, look at the best VPNs, and you can see the pros and the cons to all the VPNs. So what VPN you use is not as important as how you use them, because quite frankly, they're basically all compromised at a certain level, okay? All of them at a certain level are compromised. So my ISP goes to the router. It can't see anything past that because this is a VPN. Then it Ethernets to my devices. That helps a lot. That helps substantially. Now, all my devices are locked down, but even if they're not, it creates an encrypted tunnel between your ISP, your router, and said device. We go on Wi-Fi if I get on one of my phones or I get on one of my computers, whether it is a Mac Pro or a MacBook Pro, or whether it is one of my Linux computers, whatever it is, I've got a VPN on it. Okay, so already that tunnel is compartmentalized again. Then when I utilize my computer, and what I recommend all of you do, is utilize VirtualBox. People always talk about, oh, Cody, why do you use Apple computers? Well, I toggle back and forth. I have a Linux laptop that I use, and I have a Apple laptop that I use. Those are my main two computers. But the thing is, with both of them, I use virtual machine. I use Unix, which gives you a gateway, and then a workstation, and then you utilize Tor. And then with that, you could use something like DuckDuckGo, or if you're going to just go directly off your machine, use something like the Brave browser. And I've done a detailed tutorial on that. So you go from ISP to a VPN router. A VPN router, you plug in all the devices you can through Ethernet. And if you can't plug in the device, I recommend you drop power to that device like I do with my smart TV in my home gym, because I don't want to run Ethernet all the way to the other side of the house. So I just pull, and I only, it's only used maybe an hour a day. That TV's just kind of on for background noise people use in the gym. So maybe, 60 to 90 minutes a day that's on. The rest of the time, it's unplugged, right? Not that hard to plug something in and out. You can also just do a toggle switch if you'd like as well. The next thing is utilizing your Wi-Fi on your computer. You should have a VPN there, so it creates another break. So you're creating compartments as you go through this process. That is vital when you do this. So no two people know the same thing. It's kind of like, let's say there's 3 components to a recipe. I tell one person one piece, one person another piece, one person another piece. Nobody knows the whole thing except for me, right? This person only knows part, this person knows part, this person knows part. Okay, so these would have to actually get together to share everything, which is highly unlikely. They would need subpoenas and they would need a lot. Possible, yeah, anything's possible if you're, an international fugitive, but quite frankly, you're breaking things up. And this is what I talk about being a ghost. So first, nothing's in your name. If it's in your name, you're already SOL and you're already shooting yourself in the foot. Everyone needs to become a ghost quickly. You should have nothing in your name. Everything should be a land trust. Everything should be an offshore. Everything should be structured so you control everything, own nothing. I say that in almost every video because it's vital in the modern world. Then you should compartmentalize everything you do. Now, do you have to always use Tor and Unix? No, of course not. You can use things like Brave browser and DuckDuckGo. You've got a VPN on your machine. You've got a VPN router. You've got internet that's not in your name. And I'm hoping you're not breaking laws. So really, you're in a pretty good place. You use the same situation on your phone. If you're connecting to your home Wi-Fi, you have a VPN router, but then you also have a VPN on your phone, and you're good to go, right? And then if you want to go more in depth, you use Unix, which gives you a gateway and a workstation. So, I mean, you have about 6, potentially with Tor, 7 different cubes to get to you. And then, of course, Tor bounces through the different nodes before you have an exit node. You got different relays. So frankly, people are really going to have to be digging for you at that point. Ways to anonymize yourself. And this is the problem with VPN. So people ask me, what's the best VPN? Again, there is no perfect VPN. There's no great answer for you. There's different answers considering. So I recommend you watch my tier list video on the VPNs. I break down all of the most popular VPNs on that list, and you can see which one works the best for you. I talk about the ones I use in that list. But again, I feel like the way you use a VPN is 10 times more important than what VPN, because frankly, I trust zero of them. And even if I create my own VPN, which I have 2 of these Raspberry Pi VPNs, which is free software. This is like a $10 to $15 computer, and you can go to the Raspberry Pi website and put this together in about an hour. And that's if you have very limited tech skills. So I recommend you looking into that, because it is another added component for a VPN you can use where it's running off your network. But keep that in mind as you go through this process. So anyway, I appreciate you guys checking this out. Let me know your favorite VPN down below. Let me know what you think about these companies buying up all these VPNs. It's really getting frustrating because they're getting tossed around like playing cards or trading cards when we were kids. Remember when you trade your favorite baseball card? You know, I'll give you this Ken Griffey Jr. for that Nolan Ryan or whatever. You know, well, now that's kind of what we're doing. But instead of low stakes like trading baseball cards, we've got very high stakes like all these offshore companies buying these VPNs, and now they have full access and full control to this data. So while your ISP admits that they search you and stalk you, now you're paying these companies money yearly to have a whole database of everything you do online. Talk about a valuable piece of info if it accidentally leaks. And in today's over-politicized world, I mean, you see what's happening with Joe Rogan and some of these other things. Things often accidentally leak all the time, and it's just going to get worse and worse as we bring in the metaverse, as we bring in more AI, etc., etc. So remember, own nothing, control everything. It's still yours, but you have control. Ownership is a myth for poor people. Nobody ever owns anything. You own a house, you own a building, you still have property taxes, you still have so much red tape with the government. Like, you never actually own anything. It's more important to control everything and get this illusion of fake ownership. That ownership is an illusion to keep poor people poor and to keep you striving for something that you don't actually need, or keep you wanting something that doesn't actually add any value to your life. Be multiple moves ahead. Play 3D chess and be 3 moves ahead all the time, as opposed to always being somebody's pawn. Appreciate you guys checking out this video. If you're a king like me, or a queen, because I've got about 18% females watch this and mostly guys, but I get it, that's fine, whatever. I know I'm not the most entertaining YouTuber on the platform, or on Rumble, or on Odyssey, or wherever you're seeing this video, maybe on my website, privacyxproject.com. Check it out, first link down below if you want to become a ghost. Appreciate you guys checking this out. Make sure that you get your things out of your name, your assets, everything. You need to control everything and own nothing, because in this new system that's coming, in this new over-politicized world, and with everything that's going on, you will become a target. And it's not about you, it's about who's the easiest target. And if you have all these things in your name, you become an easy target. And this is becoming high stakes. It used to be low stakes. Now it's becoming very, very high stakes. Appreciate you guys checking out this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Put out new information here on the Privacy X. We are fighting the good fight to keep privacy, security. Privacy is a right, and it's right that needs to be protected. And if you don't protect it, I don't protect it. And you could bet that the big companies and the big corporations will not protect it. And we are literally at a fight for freedom and a fight for privacy right now globally. I definitely stand with all the amazing people in Europe, Germany, UK, England, Belgium, France, all the amazing nations in Europe with all the stuff going on. Obviously, the brothers and sisters in Australia stand with you. What's happening in Canada, very proud of Canadians right now. They stood up, the trucker movement, and it's really the freedom convoy. And what we've been doing in the United States, we got to keep moving forward with privacy, with freedom, with all these things, and let the big companies and big governments know that we will not surrender to their tyranny. However, we have to take action as well. So have an amazing day, guys. Go all in, and I'll see you in the next video.